be cooking beans. But first, as always, we must review our rules. So, it's time for Kids' Cooking Cautions, right? Okay, time for Kids' Cooking Cautions. Rule number 1. Always get your parents' permission before cooking in the kitchen. Rule number 2. Wash your hands before you cook, and if you have long hair, make sure it's out of the way. Rule number 3.
Fix your head is rule number 3.
No, it's not, but I can fix my head anyway. Hold on. There. Okay. Rule number 3. Be careful with knives, scissors, and other sharp objects, and be careful with hot things like the stove and the oven. Woo! Rule number 4. Be careful with things like meat and eggs because they have germs when they're raw. Okay, and rule number 5 is have fun. So let's get started. First, we need to come look at the recipe. Okay, so the recipe is beans. Ingredients: 1 quart-sized bag of beans. Now, we make our own beans and put them in bags. But if you don't have homemade bag beans, you can use canned beans as well. Palm shortening oil, cumin, which is a spice, salt, salt, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, and water. And of course, you also need a few cooking tools. Okay, so let's get started. Hi, this is my sous chef, Karina. Hi, cutes. I'm glad to be on the show. Yeah, me too. So, we're going to get started. The first thing that we have to do is, take care of our beans. Which, can you explain that? Sure, I have some beans running under hot water to thaw them because they were frozen in the freezer. Now, obviously, if you're using canned beans, they're not frozen. You do not need to do this. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the water. That's it? No, we have some other things we have to do as well. Okay. So, we need to get a colander so that we can drain the beans. And even if you're using canned beans, you want to drain and rinse the beans. I'm going to open them up. If they're still a little frozen, and it seems to be that they are, as I'm going to have to work to get them out of the bag, that's okay. The hot water can warm them up some more. Rinse them in water. And if you want, if they're really frozen, you can take, you can use a spoon or a fork or something like that to try to break them up a little bit. If you're using warm water, that also breaks the beans up because it helps to thaw them more. So, after you've rinsed the beans, which may take just a moment, hold on, flip them over if you need to. These are a little bit more frozen than they normally are whenever I start cooking beans, but that's okay. As you can see here, they're already melting to where there's a big chunk that's gone already, and you can scrape some of the beans off. If they get a little bit mashed, that's okay, because we're going to mash them later. Wow, that water's kind of hot. Oh dear, I just about broke my fork. See, they're already almost done. And they don't have to be completely thawed. If you have a small chunk, that's okay. So I think we're good here after I rinse them one last time. Smells like drums. There we go. Turn off the sink. Now, that's what we need to do. Well, now we have to start. Okay, so we have a skillet over here that we need to warm up. So I will reach back here. Always get a parent's permission before turning on the stove. And I will reach back here, if I can make it, and turn it on medium heat. I think that's medium heat. I'm still getting used to this new kitchen. So, we will let that warm up. What are you doing?
I'm videotaping you.
Okay, hold on. My hat is not on.
Okay, I shall.
Now what are you doing?
Staring at the beans? These beautiful beans.
Okay. Are they jelly beans? I love jelly beans.
They're pinto beans.
Oh, okay. My hat's kind of falling in my eyes, but that's okay. Okay, now all we need to do is...
Fix your hat.
Okay. I will sit over here and watch you do this part. So, now we have to get the palm oil. And since it might, we have to find the palm oil. That was the one thing that I think I forgot to get out before I started. Let me think. Where did I put that? Well, I guess I didn't put it there, but where is it? Here it is. Voila. Okay. Now, you will need a good tablespoon. So let me get a spoon. But first, I need to wash my hands. So I guess I'll take this out of the sink and set it on there. Make sure the water's not too hot. Reach behind you and grab the soap. And wash my hands. There. Grab a paper towel. Excuse me, kids. No problem. And now we need to test and make sure the pan is hot enough. If you get a little bit of water on your hand, throw it in the pan and it sizzles right away, you know that the pan is ready. It's not quite ready yet. So, come back in just a minute when it is. That's right! Okay, the pan is ready because when Karina splashes some water, it sizzles right away. Now we will put in our oil. There, be very careful with hot oil because if it gets on you, it burns and it hurts very badly. So, let me go throw my spoon away. Hold on. If you're using a metal spoon, do not throw the spoon away. Okay. Now, we have to kind of move our oil around in the pan. And wait for it to get hot. Waiting patiently. Cooking a lot of times requires much waiting, but that's okay. It's a good chance to practice patience. Let's see. You know the oil is hot enough. If when you move it, you can see those little weird, marks kind of in the oil. I don't know if you can see them at home, but that's how you know the oil is hot enough. Okay. Now, time to add the beans, and Karina will help you for that. Okay, thank you, kids. Now it's time to add the beans. Make sure they are well drained and that you won't spill water all over the floor. If you do spill water on the floor, make sure you wipe it up. You will take the beans, and you may want to ask an adult for help because from time to time the oil could splatter. And you will take the beans and you will pour them into the pan away from yourself. Just like that. If you hear a loud sizzle, you know that you've done it right and that the oil was hot enough. Then you will want to take a spoon. In fact, I probably should use a metal spoon. Let me find metal spoons.
That is a good idea.
Yes, it is. I just have to figure out where they are. Here they are. No.
Ah, beautiful beans.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, here we are. The metal spoons. Let me find a big one. Okay, here we are. Spin them around. And this will give them a chance to warm up and get oil on them. Now, I didn't put my shortening away, and I need to. Cleaning up is a very important part of cooking. Let's put it back on the shelf where it belongs. So, now that you can tell that there's not much oil left in the pan and that it's getting dry down there, you don't want the beans to burn. So now what we're going to do is grab a cup and, hold on, I got two when I meant to get one. Whoopsie. Now we will have Kish return to the scene. Okay, now we need some water. But I have to go get it out of the fridge. Hold on. we will pour some water into the glass. In fact, if you're using a water bottle, come to think of it, you don't really need the glass. But if you're not using a water bottle, then you do. You want to pour it in. That way the beans won't burn, and it will help to create a nice bean dip kind of a texture. So, we will stir the beans, and you'll notice that they aren't sizzling as much now. So, now it's time to add the spices, and Cutes will come help me with that. Although, he doesn't want to get them all over him, so I will still help. Okay, so, in beans especially, you need a lot of salt. You need a lot of salt in beans, just like Cutes just said. Start by adding some at the beginning, and then keep adding it throughout. Well, that is, don't add it if you know it doesn't need it anymore. Smoked paprika. Make sure it's smoked and not just regular paprika. That's right. That should be plenty. Now we will add some cumin. Cumin is part of what makes the beans taste so tasty. That's right. Now, the spicy stuff. Dun, dun, dun. Cayenne pepper. And add only a little at a time, or it might get very spicy very fast. Not good. Just a tiny dash. There. Now we will stir it. You want to always hold on to the pan when you're stirring it. If you got too much water into the pan, that's okay. You can just let it cook a while to burn off, well, I don't know about, to evaporate some of the water. There. That'll do. Now what? Now we have to mash the beans so they'll become a nice bean dip texture. Okay? So, how do you mash them? Do you take a big, like, spoon and just bam, bam, bam? Or do you bring in a small steamroller? No, kids, you don't do any of that. You find a masher and you mash them. What is a masher? Hold on, I'll find one and I can show you. Let's see. I can figure out where they are. Normally in your kitchen, you'll probably have a better idea of where they are. But we just moved into this kitchen. Okay, so you can watch as I mash them. You may want to get an adult's help because it can be hot sometimes. You want to carefully so that you won't burn yourself. And the handles could be a little warm, so watch out for that. You can always use a pot holder if you need to. And you will mash them gently. This is called a pastry blender, what I'm using right here. You use it to cut butter into dough when you're baking things sometimes, like biscuits. But it also comes great and handy for mashing beans. At this point, the beans are well cooked, so I can turn the heat down to a low, just to keep them warm, and to cook off any excess water. If you were still cooking off a lot of excess water, you would want to keep them up higher where it could evaporate quicker. You can choose which texture you have your beans. You don't have to mash them very much at all. Or you can mash them until they're really, really, really smooth. We like our beans about a medium texture, to where they're still bean dip, but there's still some little small chunks of beans in there. Okay, that looks good. We'll take our bean masher and bring it over here so we can wash it later. Or in fact, what you want to do is you want to rinse it off, because sometimes all that bean can be hard to get off in the dishwasher. Open the dishwasher and put it in. If you have any questions on where a dish goes, in fact, this dishwasher might be clean right now, so I will wait to put it in there. If you have a question on whether a dish goes in the top rack or the bottom rack, be sure to ask your parents. Now, I think the beans are almost done. Now, it's time to taste them. The very best part. Okay, get me a spoon. I can get it for you, Cutes. Thank you. You never, ever want to double dip into the pan of beans. Because, well, You just don't want to do that. That's not good to do when you're cooking. To put your mouth on something and then put it back in the food where people are going to be eating. You never want to do that. No siree! So, when you're taste testing, you only need a small amount. It may be very hot. Hold on. Put this here. And now I'll get my taste. You may need to blow on it. Whoops! Don't blow on it that hard next time. Now we will taste it. What do you think it needs, Cutes? Let's see. I think it needs more salt. Yes, I do too. Adjust the seasonings after you've tasted them until you think they're right. Also, especially when you're first cooking, you want to make sure that you ask your parents if it tastes right before you serve it. You may not always be very happy, but you're still getting to cook it, and your parents want to make sure that you learn it the best way and that you learn how to do it the right way. So, always respect your parents' wishes, even when you're not cooking. Cutes will help me hold on here as I stir in the extra salt that we added. You can add however much cayenne pepper you like. We don't like it very spicy, but if you do, then you can add a little bit more. Now we will taste it again, but don't use the same spoon. Wow, my spoon is all steamy. This time we will not blow on it so hard. Let's see. Let me think of what it still needs. I think it still maybe needs a little bit of salt. A little bit more cayenne pepper. Well, yeah, and a little bit more cumin. I think so too, Cutes. So we add a little bit more salt. Beans need a lot of salt. And, hold on, a little bit more cumin. When you're adjusting seasonings, don't put too much in at one time, especially with cayenne pepper. So, now we will stir it. Get another taste. And you can come back in just a minute once we've tasted it and gotten it exactly how we want it spiced. That's right! Okay, now it's time to talk about all the things that you can do with beans. Today, we've chopped up some diced tomato, we've chopped up some avocado, and made some lime wedges. You can also use salsa, guacamole, and cilantro if you like. There are many, many different ways you can do beans. Today we've made bean burritos and a bean tostada. You can also make tacos and bean bowls with quinoa or rice. You can also add things like meat to your beans. The possibilities are endless. Now it's time for the most long-awaited thing of the day. Taste testing time! Now it's time for taste testing time! Yay! Today we're going to have our trusty taste tester come in and taste the food! Yay!
Thank you. Well,
So, we have bean tostadas and bean burritos. So, let's taste them. Yummy! Here, I'm going to get a bite too.
that is so good. I mean, the cayenne and the kick and the salt. The salt is just so, just there. It's so well done.